So I think I'm going to give up with this digging a hole in the ground because, I mean, it works in terms of keeping the pickles the right temperature, but it's always wet in here. And you know, if I have the lids cranked on. Hey, it's Greg here, and it's the time of year. It's almost the end of November when I take the lacto-fermented pickles that I stored underground and put them in my garage. And I'm gonna, hello, good morning, squirrel up there. I'm gonna take them out and put them in my garage and sort of show you how I do some of that. Just walk you through the mentality and the logic of it all. Also share my my thoughts on this new cold frame design. You know, every year I try something different. I don't think I filmed the making of this because I did it in a rush. One afternoon, I just got it over with. I had my roof replaced with steel roofing because it kept blowing off, and so we had all this leftover, you know, roofing panels. So I cut one, and I dug this into a really nice steep circle, and I put it here, and then I packed the earth around it, and I even hooked up a kind of vent, right? So I got a hose here. And there's a hose down there. It's just barely poking out of the water because this thing filled up with water. Thinking that that would provide some sort of ventilation. I don't really, this was just me figuring around. This was not well thought out. Do not do this. There's a book that you can get for free if you just Google around and look around a little bit. Type in Sepp Holzer, Holzer. He's a hugelkultur gardener. He's like the hugelkultur guru. And there's a free PDF of a book he wrote that you can find if you look for it. I'll put the title of it up on the screen when I'm editing the video here. If you look through that book, because I remember reading it, there's a section where he talks about how to build a root cellar, just basic principles. And I think the next root cellar is going to be, it's not going to be big like his you can walk right into them, right? I'm not going to do that. You know, he's using tractors and big, you know, logs, and, you know, because, you know, he doesn't have a full-time job as a guy who sits in a cubicle 8 hours a day. He actually just does this all day, which would be great, right? Yeah, get your friends to subscribe. Maybe I can get enough views that I can quit my day job. That would take a lot of views. Anyway, so I think I'm going to give up with this digging a hole in the ground because, I mean, it works in terms of keeping the pickles the right temperature, but it's always wet in here. And you know, if I have the lids cranked on properly and they're not letting any of the air in here in, they work. But I got a couple jars where the lid's a bit iffy, and you know, if those jars were in the fridge, the pickles would keep, right? Fermented pickles are sort of amazing in their ability to keep. You don't need a vacuum seal for them to maintain. They won't keep indefinitely, but they'll keep months like that, right? And I had one of the batches here go bad, and I think it's just because some nasty whatever got in, because it's just so unbelievably wet in here, right? I mean, this, you know, having them half submerged in water is probably fantastic for, you know, maintaining the temperature, right? Because the water would have a stabilizing effect. I mean, put my hand in the water, it feels, if that was a beer you'd want to drink it, it feels cold. You know, I'd say 5 Celsius. It feels like if you have a nice cold beer in the fridge, it feels just like that. Might be a bit warmer. I should have brought a thermometer out here. But so I know that these have been kept the right temperature. And, you know, I've been eating these as well. I pulled a jar of these out just over a week ago. They were nice and crunchy, and they were in great shape. So now the water level's gone down a bit because I've taken these out. What did I do this year? I put this metal thing around, and then I had a bag of, I was in a hardware store, and there was one of those bags of ready mix. You know, it's a sort of like, you know, a bag of concrete powder, right? It's got everything in it, so you just mix it with water. and you know, it broke and it was all taped up, and they were selling it for a couple dollars. So I said, I know what I can use that for. So I thought I'd put a floor in here, right? So it'd be nice and flat, because previously I just had earth here. And the great thing about having earth on the ground is that it naturally breathes, and yeah, water would get in, but then the water would absorb back into the earth. And now this year, this water didn't come in from raining above, right? This is covered, and it's not like it's you know, it's not the setup here isn't like an open wheelbarrow where it just collects rain. The water that came in here came in from the sides, right? This is just the water table. If you dug a hole anywhere here, and you went down a couple feet, you'd hit water, because it's been raining fairly regularly. We've had some heavy rains, you know, and just this part of, you know, this part of the province, it just tends to be, you don't have to dig too far to find water. I got a goldfish pond over there, and all I did to make it was dig. There's no bladder, there's no liner, there's no nothing, right? I just dug a hole, right? Every time there's a good rain, the thing fills right up, and then it slowly sleeps back down, then it fills back up again. Maybe in the summer I might have to turn a garden hose on and fill it up a couple times. Not even fill it up, just add enough water to cool. It never completely runs out of water, and goldfish are pretty tough. I don't have any fancy kind of goldfish in there. I have those little sort of super cheap ones they feed the piranhas, you know, the food goldfish, and rosy red minnows. Anyway, I just fill it up a little bit, sometimes in you know, late July, early August, to bring the water temperature down, because the water level drops considerably. There still might be a foot of water in there, but I'm concerned it's getting a bit hot for the fish. So I add a little bit of water in there, but that's about it. Other than that, it just takes care of itself. And this is a pond, right? So yeah, I think I'm going to abandon this this approach to storing my cucumbers, and I'm going to build what's it called? A garbage can root cellar, I think is the term. There's different designs for that. I don't know if I'm going to get to it before the ground freezes here. I'd like to. I certainly don't want to have to do it next summer. I prefer to do as much work as I can in the fall, but we'll see what happens with that. I'll try to get at it. So I'm not going to really talk about that design yet, because I haven't completely thought it through. But this design is, for where I live, you know, a complete waste of time. You know, putting that concrete in the bottom, that just made it that much harder for the water to get out. I mean, the water's coming in from the sides. Sure, there's metal around here, but it is not tight, right? So there's lots of ways water can get in. I would imagine even the concrete down there, it's got cracks. It's you know, it's just, there's nothing perfect here, right? It's just made it really hard for the water to get out and very easy for the water to get in. So it's just kind of a well, I guess. Yeah. Fail, epic fail. But the pickles are edible, and they are still crunchy, and they still work. So it worked in terms of keeping them cold, but really you don't want your you know, your stored vegetables sitting in water underground. Not good. Let me show you where I'm going to put these things. All right, so here we are in a fairly unglamorous place to store vegetables. This is the floor of my garage near my workbench, and I know this is a cold spot. This is where I keep my beers. I also keep store seed potatoes for next year in here, right? I got those on there. I also know it's cold because I got a thermometer on the floor. And the thermometer right now says it's about 7 or 8 Celsius, somewhere in between there, right? So I mean, that's the you know, good temperature. You know, ideally you want it somewhere a 5 is ideal, but and it'll get down to that as the winter comes on. But that's fine for these, right? So it's also nice and dark. You don't want your lacto-fermented vegetables exposed to sunlight. It's not good for the bacteria, as I understand it. So you want to have them in the dark. So the ones at the far back here are, of course, in the dark. And if they get closer to the front, I just put a, you know, just piece of paper or cardboard or something over it just to keep it dark in there. I mean, the lights aren't on in here most of the time, but sometimes I'm in here puttering around, right? Puttering around. So, you know, that's what I do with that. So that's where they go. That's it. Right? I keep lots of other things in here too. Right? I got all my potatoes back there, all my squash are over there. I'll probably do, I did a video a couple years ago called The State of the Storage Veg. Maybe I'll do another one of those closer, deeper into the winter. I'm still pulling things out of the garden right now, so it doesn't really make sense to talk about what's been stored, in my opinion anyway. Anyway, so there you have it. That's the situation with the poor man's root cellar for 2020. Yeah, I really, that just goes to speak to doing things in a rush. I had the right materials, and I thought about this a little bit, but there was just one day where I had like an hour to do this. So I just did this. Sometimes that's worth it. You spend an hour and things will go great. And sometimes it's, just a complete waste of effort. I lost about one gallon. I have a 1 gallon jar of pickles. The seal wasn't very good, and the whole thing just was mushy, and I had to toss them all out. I hope these are all fine. They look okay, but that doesn't mean anything, right? You gotta, if it's got that crunch, that's what you want, right, with your fermented pickles. So, yeah, I wouldn't do it this way. Ways I've done it in the past, a little bit better, but next year I'm going to have a new approach that I think is going to solve this problem once and for all. So, yeah, if you're finding yourself having, the problem with having these things, I'm ruined for store-bought pickles. I have to ferment my own pickles. I devoted an entire garden to growing pickling cucumbers, and I pickle all my cucumbers, and these basically, I ration them out, right? 1 jar a month is what I get to have, right? So I got, December is in the fridge right now. I've already broken into December. So I got January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Right, and by July I'll have some new ones. I have to stick to that schedule. That's something I look forward to. Now I had even more, but I had an entire, this is a half gallon jar. I had a whole gallon jar of extra pickles that I had to toss. Anyway, so yeah, that's, that's the story of this year's Poor Man's Root Cellar. A bit of a learning experience, a bit of an experiment. It's always worth trying something new. And, to throw this together might have taken me an hour and a half, something like that. I don't remember it taking too long. So, I'm not really out too much, and this is just junk, basically, right? But it was poorly conceived, it was ill-conceived, and certainly not consistent with the literature on the topic. I was just playing with something here. Not a good outcome. So, hey, you win some, you win some, you lose some. But yeah, if you're like me and you've been sort of ruined in terms of your ability to enjoy store-bought pickles, and only lacto-fermented pickles will do it for you, which is where I am at this point in my life. Every year I have one entire garden bed, a 4x10 bed, devoted to growing pickling cucumbers, and I pick them all, and I plan it out so I have at least 1 jar a month until the next summer when the pickles are available. And I pickle a few more things, like this time of year. I tend to have an abundance of sunchokes, so I usually do 1 jar of lacto-fermented sunchokes as well, which are lovely because they're so sweet and they're so good. But yeah, if you're getting to that point where maybe, because that's the thing, once you get these things fermented, you have to put them somewhere cool to slow down or even stop the fermentation process, and that's what enables the fermented pickles to keep for such a long time, not indefinitely, but ideally a year. I've had them. There was 1 year I used to bury them. I'd put each one of these in a plastic bag, and I'd dig a hole, and I'd stick them all in the ground, and I'd bury the hole, just bury it, and those would keep really well. But then you'd have to dig them out, and there was 1 year I actually, I think I might have had a video on that. I was digging and I hit something with my shovel, and when I got it out, there was a jar that had been buried down there a couple of years underground. Cracked it open, tried to pickle, still had the crunch, right? But that's a pickle being, stored in a almost perfect situation, in my opinion. Anyway, next year, gonna have a different approach. Gonna try the trash can root cellar. I think that's probably the ideal poor man's root cellar. We'll see how that works. I'm gonna incorporate a few concepts from Sepp Holzer's book on, I think it's just called Sepp Holzer's Permaculture. I can't remember the title. I'll put it up in this thing here. Incorporate a couple principles that he explains about ventilation, a way to get, some air going through the the root cellar, but in a way that the air going through it is cool. And basically, you have two pipes, one that's going out and one pipe that's going in. The pipe that's going in is usually something like copper, and it's in the ground a bit. So as the air's, so that one, as the air's going in, it's going through a pipe that's in the ground. It cools the air as it goes in. Then you have another pipe that's black, that's out the top and up in the sun. So the black pipe is heated, so the air in the black pipe rises and sucks the air naturally. A natural draft is created because it's vertical and the pipe's black. So whenever there's sun, right, that pipe heats up, air starts going up, and the cold air starts getting drawn in to the root cellar. So that's the general principle. I kind of played around with something like that here, but I did, a completely half-assed, ill-conceived application of that. I doubt it did anything at all. So anyway, I think I'm starting to ramble here, so I'll wrap it up. So yeah, this approach, not so good, especially where I live, where any hole becomes a pool. I'm going to think of a way to do it next year where everything stays dry, everything stays cool, and hopefully that'll be sort of the ultimate poor man's root cellar. I've been playing with this sort of idea for the last 4 years, I don't know. And I'll keep playing with it till I get something where I'm completely happy with the results. So I hope you found that interesting. Hope you got something to chew on there. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Check out my podcast, maritimegardening.com. And until next time, get out there, get at it, have fun in your garden. Thanks for watching.